First thing you need for loading a bike or a truck or a van and a ramp. In my case, I have a K-van, the Subaru Samba, which is one of the bigger K-vans, which I calculated would roughly be able to fit my track bike. So in this video, I'm trying to load my street bike as practice before picking up my NSR, and I brought a friend along to help. So first time you're loading your bike, you're probably going to want to have someone there to help you, just in case something goes wrong, and it gives you a little bit more confidence with what you're doing. Plus, there's a lot less of a chance that you're going to end up like all those guys on YouTube who ram their bike into the back of their trucks and then drop it and look like idiots. When getting ready, you should probably also look at the space around you and make sure you have enough room to get the bike backed up and aligned and ready to get into the van. As you can see, I didn't really plan that out and had to move the van. Ramps come with an extra belt that's used to secure the ramp to a stable part of the van. So just connect one end to the ramp and one end to your van and tighten it up. Also make sure that the friend you bring along is a complete camera whore and tries to direct your audience to some sort of insightful piece of information. But in this case, my friend actually has good advice, which is don't try and stand the bike up straight or lean it away from you afraid it's going to fall into you, because it's actually safer to have the bike lean just a little bit towards you so you have better access to the controls, and that's actually the way it won't fall over. When picking out my van, I made sure that it would fit my NSR, but I forgot to make sure it would fit my street bike. So when you're picking out a van, just make sure that it's going to fit. Right now my friend's trying to argue with me and tell me that I shouldn't be starting the bike, but contrary to what he's saying, you actually want to start the bike up, line it with the ramp, and just use the clutch control to ease the bike up the ramp. You don't want to ride it up the ramp or rev it really hard on the ramp. You just want to ease your way into the back of the van. And in my case, because I wasn't sure of the height, just make sure to take my time and make sure that, the tires don't fall off the ramp. Luckily for us, we realized that the bike was too tall by like an inch or an inch and a half. So just taking off the plastic handlebar guards was going to be enough to let the bike through. So after taking off the guards, we tried again, and as you can see, it's pretty easy to get a bike into a van if you just take your time. When you have a K-van, it's a little bit of a squeeze, and you have to be a little extra careful that you're not hitting your head on the ceiling or brushing your bike up against windows or anything. But as long as you take your time, it's not that hard. Once you get the bike in the van, make sure you have the kickstand down so you don't drop it, and then go grab your belts and find a good fastening point on the van. In my case, there's a little compartment underneath the back seats, and there's a place I could hook onto there. And then find a good place to put the hooks on your bike. A lot of the guys here loop the belt around the handlebars and hook it to itself, but for this bike, I was able to easily just hook it directly onto the handlebars. Once you have the bike strapped in, just go around to the front and compress the forks while pulling up on the belts at the same time. This will make sure the bike's more secured, and when you're driving, the bike will be bouncing up and down a little bit from bumps on the road. So this will keep the bike secured, so it won't be bouncing as much on the road. After that, I went around and found a good mounting point on the rear, which I believe was the passenger foot pegs, and I did the same, compress the shock a little bit, and tighten on the belt. Hopefully next time I'll have a bit more confidence doing it and be able to do it alone. But for now, it's a good first experience, and as with most things, the more you do it, the better you get at it, I guess.